Hello and welcome to Victoria 3 ABC. Why ABC? Because I want to copy every other Paradox YouTuber, but worse. That's why ABC and not A to Z. You are going to Brazil. Brazil is one of the few countries in the game that starts at war, so first I'll have to deal with the rebels in the south and then the north. I have plans for this campaign, but can't let these tiny rebel groups slow me down. I also rush public schools to make sure that I can keep up on tech with the great powers, aka not Russia. I rushed to take Amazon states from Bolivia and put an end to the Confederation. Then I proceed to start the workings of great industry. Fun. I then pass propertied women for more workforce, and after such successes, I get a little ballsy and try to rush slavery banned from the slave trade. Instead of legacy, don't do that. Or do, I can't tell you what to do. So, I kinda just decided to ignore the revolution and just let it happen, and use it to rush liberalizing. The great Brazilian Empire, of course, wins over the lowly landowners, and soon slavery is banned, and we can integrate the Nordestinos, getting closer to the Brazilian identity. I then try to switch from local police force to a dedicated one. I then spend about 6 minutes just figuring out the name for my power block. I just Google translated Brazilian Empire from English to Brazilian. And then I proceed with more customization. Kinda pointless, but let me LARP. I then realize, somehow at the end of my civil war, even though I won, New Granada still took the Amazons from me. So that pissed me off a little bit. I then fight Paraguay and eated them in one of the easiest wars of the campaign, but I decided to release them. Don't know why, just kind of felt like it would come back up later. Then I enact write an assembly for extra research, get the extra spread, and establish the great CIA company, and pass homesteading. I then invade Argentina, making them a protectorate, and Ecuador for some reason decided to join in, so they also get the protectorate treatment, but also have to give me Pastaza, due to it being an Amazon state, which I want. Obviously, neither of them were a match for the great Brazilian Army and Navy. I then negotiated for French Guiana, making one of the worst concessions possible, but it's only for 5 years and gonna get cancelled immediately then, so I give French Guiana another Amazon state. Finally, I'm ready to get my revenge on New Granada. Even though they might have American allies, I have the British on my side due to some very smart political maneuvering. Unfortunately, I kind of miscalculated and they backed down, but I still got their Amazon state and my Amazon state back, so that was good. And then I tried to pass public health care because South America at this time doesn't really have enough people for all its resources and for potential economic and military growth, which is something I'll pretend I'm good at doing. I then eat Uruguay, because Uruguay. And then continue on becoming an industrial powerhouse. Riveting gameplay, I know. I then go for elected bureaucrats for the reduced bureaucracy expenditure. So there's less bureaucracy being spent. It didn't go well, however, because apparently I had a very unhappy positivist movement, And I mean, like, come on, they have positive in their name, and they're like the least positive people in the country. And passed free trade to make the world reliant on the great Brazilian exports. I then joined a rather interesting war to prevent the Spanish from making the Venezuelans a protectorate, and simultaneously attack Chile for applause and making them a protectorate. Meanwhile, anyways, I joined the British in a quite cheeky war against the Chinese. I just tagged along for the ride and got a treaty port in Suzhou, I think. Please don't crucify me. And make Peru a protectorate. Because money. And due to being an ally of Great Britain, I also got dragged into a war against the US, but luckily they ended up backing down, probably because of the great Brazilian might. I also don't really remember clicking anything to do the Hawaiian event, but it just kind of gave it to me, so I ended up annexing them. So, more land, yay. And then finish up Peru and make them a protectorate. After that, I established the Sao Paulo Railway Company. You know, railways are great, so why not have a company build it? And then no migration controls passed, because I need people if I'm going to become the greatest power. I then annexed Argentina and began the long process of exploiting the Amazon. And due to losing the war against the Spanish, I have to fight them for a Venezuelan puppet, but I win that. And then, finally, the last bastion of Spanish South America, New Granada shall fall. After winning the war, the Brazilian Forestry Company gets established for even more money. And in my power block, I also encourage the freedom of movement so more people will migrate to Brazil. I thought the monarchy was secure, but as it turns out, it was not, and the Republican event fired. This was not planned, but it was workable. After that, the Chinese tried revolting, it failed, and Brazil finally secures itself as a great naval power. After that, I begin construction of the Christ the Redeemer. After getting ahead in research, I changed the power block principle from the research focus to transport infrastructure for more economic bonuses, pretty much. I then go to annex Chile without realizing the infamy cost of that action. To be honest, I'm not sure why it's so high, but it quickly makes me a pariah. As such, a series of cut-down wars begin, and I kind of start to lose morale as the game is also chugging at like 10 FPS. I swear my computer's good. So after winning one cut-down war and forced to fight another, I kind of started to give up due to, you know, running at like 10 frames and having to fight the entire world. So I just finished up the run by completing the exploitation of the Amazon, and because I owned all the states, I got the achievement. So if you enjoyed this, please like and sub for more of my pain.